I hope this Be Live app works well. I've got a video to show you today, really interesting video, and we're going to go through pulling back the veil again. Then we're going to go through, as mentioned in the title, that I'm going to talk about how you can quickly shift your blueprint, how you can do that very quickly. I'm going to go in and just check out the page where this is streaming, so then I can see if there are any questions come up there or not. And well, okay, so today about the planet, there's so much being revealed. There is such a fight going on right now. There is such a fight. There's a spiritual war. Now, I don't know if you understand the spiritual war, but you might understand it the more that you have become spiritual. You feel the war. There is a fight for your soul. Yeah? A fight for your soul. So, hey, Bev. Hey, Janita. Hey, Sandra. Morning. Okay, so, yeah, there's a fight for your soul and a fight to get us moving out of inhumanity into a place of humanity. Yeah. Hey, Donna. All right. So, yeah, it's about the war is the hold on us is going one way or another. It's going to you're here to finally free your soul, and I'm hoping that when I'm watching the video, it doesn't look very smooth, so I'm hoping it's still smooth. I was going to cut down a few more apps here. So, and I've been looking at, I'm thinking, okay, so how does our soul get taken? How do we become part of, how do we become asleep? How do people control us? And if you look in the past, we have been asleep, we have been blindsided, we have been betrayed, and yeah, okay, thank you, Robin. Good, that video looks good. That's good pictures at my end. I swear there's someone that really messes with my head over this end. So anyway, this is good. Okay, so I'm going to go straight into it. So our soul, we're bringing back our soul. We're taking back this. Your soul is your most precious part of you, the soul. The soul is your essence, is who you are. It's the eternal force of you, which goes through lifetime after lifetime. And there's a fight for your soul. Your soul is energy, and your soul is a life force for those who don't have it, which is the lower vibrational reptilians and the the evil part. It's so low. It's a low vibration, so it needs to feed off something to keep it alive. It needs darkness, and so when it can control us and get us living in misery and torturing and just doing inhumane things, then it's surviving. Well, time's up. We got to wake up. And what I'd less like to tell you is for you to wake up, you need to wake up to yourself. You need to wake up to your actions. Your actions will be, what do you think? Where do you grow your energy? What do you purchase? What do you watch? What do you support? Have you found the truth? Have you gone deep? Have you looked at the dark and understand what really is happening? Because this planet is, I don't know anybody that would say, yeah, this planet's like really a beautiful, humane planet. I mean, yes, there are parts of it, but there is a real dark side to it. And once you know the dark side, you'll know where to place your energy, because then you know who's creating the dark side. So I've got a really interesting video for you, and people that are a little bit older will appreciate this video. Okay, so then I'm thinking, all right, so what we need to talk about is how there are spells put over us. There is this pull spell over us to do black magic on us. And if any of you have ever had black magic done on you, you will understand how powerful it can be. Voodoo is super powerful, black magic. People, do rituals. Rituals are huge. And in my last class, or the second last class I did, was a mother who had a child. And this child, and I'm trying to remember exact ages. I think the child was age 3, and the child watched Wizard of Oz. So after it watched Wizard of Oz, it stopped wanting to eat vegetables. It was a huge issues with the eating and the way the child was. And the child would actually say, "I like the dark." So that movie put a spell on this child, and it was like it almost took its soul. I don't know. I mean, I haven't really watched Wizard of Oz. I don't remember it. I'm not into it. But there's so much symbolism and all of that stuff that it put this spell over the child. And during the week, we did a healing for the child. During the 7-day live, we did a healing for the child, and the mother posted in the Facebook group, "It's like a miracle. He wants to eat vegetables. He's like different. He doesn't know why." I think the child was maybe about 9. I'm really stretching it for ages. I'm trying to remember, but I think it had been like this for all those years. And then she goes home, and he's just completely transformed in his eating habits and the way he is, a lot lighter and happier. And because there was issues ever since the child watched Wizard of Oz. So this is what we need to wake up to, and a lot of you are awake that are watching this video, and a lot of you have done your research, and that's good. Yeah. Well, I want you to understand where the powers lie. I want you to understand how it's done, how you're manipulated, and how you're controlled, and to wake up. Religion has lots of rituals. Hollywood has rituals, and people sell their soul. All right. So why I was thinking about the soul is because Magenta Pixie did a video, and she said that 9 are telling her this phrase: 9/10, possession is 9/10. Yeah, I think it was possession is 9/10 of the law. Yeah. So she didn't quite understand it. And for me, what that means is possession. So who has possession of you? Who has possession of your soul? And they own you, or you own yourself. So where is your soul, and who has it? And our soul does get fragmented. Our soul gets shattered, and that's with all the torturing that they do, the MK Ultra programming that they do on people. And a lot of Hollywood kids have been MK Ultra'd, which is a lot of abuse, and then they flick switches and get them to do what they want. Well, okay, so then I was looking at, I'm thinking, wow, people that, I think that I used to think when I would hear a song or someone sing, or I'd go, wow, have there been like, how do they take their soul? The people that they find in Hollywood are really talented. What are the odds that you get somebody so talented then that would sell their soul? Or how does that all work? And I was trying to make sense of how it all works. And I'm going to show you something in a video of what the black arts do. So what I've done is, so after Magenta said, well, 9/10 of the law is, possession. So, then basically whoever has your soul. So everybody that's ever sold their soul, and people do sell their soul. I actually met a girl, and I was doing a healing on her once. It was just a mini healing and she said to me, and I brought up something about, I can't even remember, it was like 15, 20 years ago. I brought up something about her soul, and she says, yes, well, I remember not being able to get any help from the light, so I made a deal with the dark. Well, holy shit, Batman. So a lot of people do it. I've heard it before. People will say, well, you know what, I gave up on God, or I cursed God, or whatever, God or source or whatever you call it. And they'll need to undo that. You need to start undoing and reversing all of that stuff, and you need to pull back parts of you that you've lost in trauma and abuse. You've really got to work at it. So this is the difference between selling your soul and then, transforming and moving. Selling your soul means you want it easy. Selling your soul will probably be yes, you want instant fame or gratification. You want money and all of that sort of stuff. Easy road. It's like this easy road, and you get the power and you get all that. So selling your soul is the easy route to, living a dream of fame in lack of integrity in a dark way. The other way, and I don't think that, I'm going to tell you now, you would never get into Hollywood, and you would never make it in Hollywood if you don't sell your soul. It's just not going to work. You might get somewhere with your talent, but I question everybody now, and I've looked at even the Dalai Lama, friends with pedophiles. So there's going to be a lot of shock of how this whole world's been operating. And I thought, okay, let me just see. I thought, I wonder if anyone regrets selling their soul. So I did a search and I found out Lady Gaga regrets because she has body aches. Not because she sold her soul, just because she has body aches. But Lady Gaga, she goes through the process of, she was in a, singing in this little, tiny little room and to people. And then she said she really wanted to make it. And she was out having a cigarette. And this guy in this black suit rocks up. Yeah. This guy in a black suit rolls up and say, well, you know what? You could make it. You could have it all. And do you want it? And she said, yeah, I do. So she said it was in New York. She went to a place where they did a satanic ritual, which I can't even imagine what sacrifices involved in a satanic ritual. And she sold her soul, and she said it was very tangible. And then she got the fame. She got it all. And then I did a search on who else has sold their soul. So I've got like 5 pages of people, and I'm just going to read out a few. This is just a few. We got 50 Cent, AC/DC, Adele, Alicia Keys, Dr. Dre, Alan Alda, Amy Winehouse, Asher, Bette Midler, Beyonce, Billy Ray Cyrus. That's what's her name's Miley Cyrus's father, and Miley Cyrus, of course, has sold hers. But this is just some. Black Sabbath. I mean, look at the name. Bob Dylan. Now, Bob Dylan tells the story of how he went to the crossroad, because there's another story of another guy that couldn't even play guitar, and he said he made a pact with the devil, and he went to the crossroad, and he said a black guy took his guitar and tuned it up, and I think his name's Robert Johnson, and tuned it up, and then he could come back and he could play guitar. So he was called Robert Johnson. He was this black guy. And then before he could not play, and he came back and he was able to play, and he became successful. Bob Dylan did the same process. Bob Dylan was very average. And his people around him go, yeah, he was really average. And then he comes back 6 months later with all these skills. He could play harmonica, and he never could before. And he says, yeah, he went to the crossroad and asked for the talents, but that was in lieu of his soul. You've got Bon Jovi, Brad Pitt, Britney Spears, Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, I was wondering about Bruce Springsteen, so he did. Bruno Mars, Carrie Underwood, Christina Aguilera, Celine Dion, well, we know that, David Bowie, Dolly Parton. I mean, this is just some of them. I mean, I don't know half these people, so these are people I know. Elton John, Ellie Goulding, Elvis Presley. That's the clip I'm going to show you. Don McLean, Eminem, Fergie, Hall & Oates, Hilary Duff, Gwen Stefani, Ice Cube, Jim Carrey, Johnny Cash, Jim Morrison, Jerry G. Lewis, Jay-Z, John Lennon. Yeah, the Beatles, all of them. Rolling Stones are all satanic. Keanu West, Katy Perry, Justin Timberlake, Kathy Griffin, Marilyn Manson, Led Zeppelin, Lady Gaga, Michael Jackson, Metallica, Midnight Oil, MC Hammer, Nicki Minaj, Obama, Ozzy Osbourne, Pink Floyd, Prince. We got more. These are just who I know. I mean, there's Hot Chili, and I'm not really into this stuff. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rihanna, Robin Thicke, Roseanne Barr, Robert Plant, Sam Mendes. He's the one that goes and does all these great shows about surprising people and making them happy. Selena, it's just so out of integrity. Selena Gomez, Gomez, Snooki, Snoop Dogg, Eagles, The Fray, Van Halen, Queen. Yeah, so there's just some. But basically, if you've got media attention and they're pushing you, you're sold. No, they won't do it. That's the way they do it. Now, how do they push? When you look at some of these people are super talented. Now, I'm going to show you a clip. Now, this is the clip going back to Elvis Presley. Now, Elvis Presley, for all you young people, was hotter than hot. Now, he really moved and shake, and he was sexier than sexy. I didn't really follow him because my mum, when he was out doing his thing, I was just born. But I want to show you Elvis Presley because Elvis Presley was actually a weird guy before he got on stage. He was a weird guy that could play, was musically inclined, could play the guitar, and they used to laugh at him. His school friends used to go, look at that weird guy. But when you see him on stage, which people who follow him around will say he's anything, he flips. So he and Elvis will say entities come through him, it moves his body, and he's very sexual. And he's like, you look at him, I'm going to show you a clip when he's singing Suspicious Minds, and then I'm going to show you the clips when he just started. His voice is different, completely different. You'd go, that is a different man. And he moves beyond, like, you go, who can move like that? Who has that energy bolting through them like he does? And that is entities, because this is what I found out. All these people that I've read out all follow, and Elvis was, he would agree, he's all the people around him would say he was right into the occult, and he was into Aleister McCrawley stuff. And another book who was this other woman that was, that Aleister McCrawley said, oh, we and her are one. I can't remember her name, but is the most evil of, they say he's the most evil person on the planet. He was almost like Hitler's, right hand, who Hitler was inspired by for the Free Secret Service on all probably torture techniques and all black magic of how to get people to follow. So what it is as we as healers heal and we pull in these pure entities and, we get a guidance and all that, they do the opposite. Us healers have done the hard work. We have, we won't sell our soul. We're like healing our souls. We don't sell it. We heal our souls. We progress. So therefore, we attract these positive healing entities. It's like attracts like. So when the people that, and people sell out their soul in day-to-day life. They'll sell their soul to a job. They'll sell their soul to, but there's always varying degrees, right? There's varying degrees. So where I was like, yes. So Aleister McCrawley. So Elvis was always reading books on the occult. He was reading a book called The Silent Voice by the woman who was like cohorts with with Aleister McCrawley. They were like one of a kind, and he would read her books, and he was selling his soul. He was practicing all those beliefs behind the screen. Now, I think why he did it was because he was so different in childhood, and I think he felt the odd person out, and he probably was like, I'll show you, and he was willing to do anything for it. His whole life was, so he kept, even to the day he died at age 42. I mean, he was an adulterer. He had orgies. He was on drugs galore because he said it was better to be unconscious than be miserable, because his whole life was miserable. He died with a book in his hand at age 42, still reading all this crap on sex and psychic abilities and psychic powers, something like that. So, and it was always about the occult and getting power on the dark side. Right? So I'm going to show you a video now. So let me go back in, and it's going to be a video of let me go back. Elvis Presley. So just what I want you to do is I want you to take note of, listen to his voice and look how he moves, and then watch the color, when it goes to color, that is him 10 years later. And look, he's a completely different person, but that is what these entities gave him. And this is what entities can give you: a better voice, a better everything, even better looks in a way. It will do this if you sell your soul. And then there are going to be people around him just showing you how dark he was. So, like, you know, and people love Elvis. They love him and adore him. And this is the other side that you don't see. So take a look. I'm going to bring it up. So take a look as I play this. Okay.
Sitting on a hollow stump. I'm like a Mississippi bullfrog sitting on a hollow stump.
Walking through a party in the county jail. The prison band was there and they began to wail. The band was jumping and the drum began to swing. You should have heard this knocked out jailbird sing and rock.
Don't you know? I can't walk out because I love you too much. Caught in a trap. Caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much. Caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much. Caught in a trap. I can't walk out because
played, and people used to point at him and laugh. Here's this guy that I knew from school and that everybody thought was weird. It's up on the truck entertaining everybody.
Elvis Presley, like no other artist before or after him, had an uncanny effect on millions of his fans. He said he had no control over the way his body responded to music, and described the transformation that took place with him on stage as though he were being possessed by some, quote, surge of electricity. Steve Dunleavy, author of Elvis, What Happened, stated Elvis Presley was straddling the microphone in the most suggestive of manners, his groin gyrating inches from the upright stand, and he was shaking in convulsive movements as if possessed by an alien spirit. When he sang loudly, he commanded his worshippers. Later in life, Elvis would acknowledge that the strange powers that he'd wielded over his audiences were occultic powers that he'd received from the spirit world. His close friend Larry Geller wrote that Elvis believed that he was working under the aegis of these masters, that they had helped. Author Gary Herman stated that Elvis, quote, recognized the devil's part in his success.
And I felt sick.
Elvis's former bodyguards revealed that Elvis not only believed that he had occultic powers, but that he was a prophet and that they were his disciples. Red West declared he likes to be in control. He likes to be a God figure. For many years, with real seriousness, he called us his disciples. Red West declared with conviction that Elvis possessed some kind of special powers, something like psychic powers, he said. Elvis proved it to me again and again. Sonny West, the cousin of Red West, was also considered a disciple by Elvis. Sonny tells about Elvis's amazing occultic powers. Sonny West admitted he genuinely believes that he is a prophet and we were his disciples. He certainly had a power over us. He certainly had control over me. I admit it. I mean, he had me going where I was making telephone calls about getting Mike Stone hit. I am no killer. Elvis actually had plotted to murder a number of people. Sonny West tells how Elvis sought to use his occultic powers to manipulate him to murder Mike Stone.
Elvis sat down and he said, Sonny, get down, get down. So I was at the foot of the bed and I got down on my knees. He said, come here. And he put his hands out. And I took his hands, and he said, look at me, man. And I started looking at him. He was trying to give me suggestion by concentrating on, you got to kill him, Sonny. You got to do it, man. You got to do it. He's breaking up my family. Very low key. And I'm fighting. I said, no, Elvis. He said, Sonny, you can do it. Elvis jumped up, went in, and got this assault rifle. I think it was an AK-47 or something. And he came out, or either Thompson machine guns, one of the two, and he came out and put it in my hand. He said, Sonny, go kill Mike Stone. Do it for me. Go kill him.
He got mad. It was like a dark cloud enveloped everything, and everyone around was affected by it. He may not be angry at you. He may be angry at him, but his anger was so forceful that it just, you couldn't wait for him to get out of it because it was bad.
So hot was Elvis's temper and so violent his personality that he had riddled several television sets and even cars with bullets. One bullet even glancing off a TV and hitting somebody else in another room at a hotel. Like Elvis's former disciples, Elvis's stepbrother David Stanley claimed that Elvis had a presence and supernatural powers.
A fascinating thing with him, David, was that the supernatural side. Elvis was very intrigued with supernatural,
It's like he had a presence, when I think about the supernatural.
Stanley claimed that Elvis's supernatural powers were such that he had witnessed him perform a stunning array of miracles. He claims of a storm that they were in that Elvis parted the clouds in ways that are reminiscent of Moses parting the Red Sea.
Thunder and lightning and hailing, one of those huge storms. And Elvis says, man, I'm sick of this. We couldn't even see our hands in front of our faces. And he said, I'll take care of it. So he rolls back the sunroof. The rain is coming in on us and everything. He took his hands and he went like this. And as God is my witness, the only reason I believe it is because I was there. He went like this, and it was like the whole thing split down the middle. Pouring down raining on one side, pouring down raining on the other side, and it looked like the yellow brick road in the middle. Sunbeams on the road all the way down the middle.
Elvis's close friend Larry Geller even admits that Elvis named his gospel group Voice after his occult magazine, The New Age Voice. In his book, he shows how Elvis Presley was so influenced by the occultic masters from India that he was even going so far as having his stage costumes designed in the manner of the masters. He writes, in Elvis's mind, his life was being directed divinely by the brotherhood of masters and illuminated beings, enlightened entities that have existed since time immemorial. And he truly felt that he was chosen to be here now as a modern-day savior, a Christ.
If you really believe in Elvis, if you are a good person, if you follow God, Elvis can heal you.
Elvis Presley was actually a disciple of the teachings of the Satanist Madame Blavatsky. It was Blavatsky's teachings of the Aryan race that influenced Adolf Hitler and the SS. It was in Blavatsky's publications that the swastika first appeared in published material in Nazi Germany. Adolf Hitler was said to have kept a copy of her spirit-channeled book, The Secret Doctrine, at his bedside. Satanist Aleister Crowley boasted that he and Blavatsky were one. Blavatsky stated in The Secret Doctrine that, quote, Satan is the angel who was proud enough to believe himself God, brave enough to buy his independence at the price of eternal suffering and torture. Dave Hebler, who was Elvis's personal karate instructor and also called a disciple of the Memphis Mafia, witnessed firsthand Elvis destroy himself and those around him.
What he was doing not only to himself, but to the people around him.
Dave Hebler declared, I have seen him manipulate crowds like he was Hitler. It was weird. Elvis almost always had on hand a copy of Blavatsky's Voice of Silence, with which he would indoctrinate his fans by reading from Blavatsky's book on stage, as Larry Geller held it like a script prompter. One of his disciples declared, but Elvis often gets up in his acts during his performances and reads these things to the audience, says Sonny. One night at the Riviera Hotel in Las Vegas, he produced Blavatsky's voice and insisted that Don Rickles read passages from it. Saying incredibly, the night that Elvis died, his body was filled with drugs and his soul was filled with occultic lies. He died reading a book called Sex and Psychic Energies, a book about the very occultic forces that he had tapped into to initiate the world into sexual license and promiscuity and the lies of the New Age as the king of rock and roll. Besides his obsession with sex and drugs and the occult, Elvis was also obsessed with death. Elvis was so obsessed with death that his former disciples admitted that he would take them through graveyards and visit funeral homes as late as 3 a.m. to wander around the slabs looking at all the embalmed bodies. All of Elvis's fame, fortune, women, drugs, music, and the demonic powers he had tapped into could not bring Elvis happiness in the end. It was one huge, brutal lie. On the outside, Elvis presented the picture that he had it all together, but on the inside, he was the most miserable man on earth. Pastor Hamill, who pastored First Assembly of God in Memphis, stated that when Elvis had visited him in the late 50s, at the pinnacle of his success in rock and roll stardom, that Elvis declared, quote, I'm the most miserable young man you've ever seen. I've got all the money I'll ever need to spend. I've got millions of fans. I've got friends. But I'm doing what you taught me not to do, and I'm not doing the things you taught me to do.
So, Elvis Presley, dark as dark, and that's not his voice. Did you notice a difference? That's not his voice. And the way he moved, he would say entities would enter him. So he got his fame. He got whatever, he got what he sold his soul for. He got fame. He got money, but it goes nowhere. And many people do that. And this is why I think this is this time to say, so what am I selling my soul out for? And make sure you pull it back. you stop compromising, you stop being out of integrity in allowing things that are inhumane or aren't in your integrity. And ignorant, there's no longer an excuse for ignorance. So and then be mindful that people sell out and not to connect to that, because I mean, when I was watching the video and doing it, I'm like, wow, I could get sucked into this. This guy's like got magic. He's like incredible. And the more I looked into it, and I'm not getting sucked into it, but I started to see the truth of it, and I'm going, oh, that's not even him. If you look at how he sang originally, that's not his original voice. He turned into this, amazing, sexy, deep, incredible voice. But when he started out, that wasn't his voice. And there's, you can go Google that. That was his voice in 1955. It was all the occultic energies and entities that entered him for him to sell his soul. And then, anyway, so what I'm just saying, though, is that life isn't how people aren't who they appear to be in what the media have portrayed, and that it's all an amazing life to have all these riches. Most people have sold their soul out in Hollywood and so forth. So it's not it's in fact what you don't want. You don't want to be selling yourself out. And I think that's what this life is about. It's like, where will you go? What level will you go to satisfy your need for acceptance, your, want of money. And when you say, I'm not going to sell myself out, but I'm going to do the work on spiritually evolve myself and work that side and it's hard work. It's not easy to be able to, access source and connect to that and then find out you're the creator without an entity jumping in you. It is that you are your power. That's the difference. Don't sell out. So just be mindful of, and that's why I tell people to be mindful of, all of the holidays they celebrate, especially that, the Halloween and all the stuff that we do, that we are having our energy siphoned, or we're giving energy to a Satanism. So as they say, as above, so below. That means that there's really the unseen world is a reflection of this current world. So that's why you have to know what's going on in the current world. You have to understand that there's a war going on, and I don't like being political, but I'm pro-humanity, and hence why I get people to, and I will say I'm a Trump supporter, only because he's fighting that battle of good and evil, and you need to find that out for yourself. And all the people that are opposed to him are all those people that sold their soul out. If you all those people on that list are opposed to Trump. So that's got to tell you something. And then there's people on the other side that aren't aware and awake to what's going on. And in fact, even people that I admire, that I have followed or have read their book, don't like Trump. Because they think they don't even get it. They haven't looked deep enough. Spiritual people that are on the spiritual path don't. They just, it's not that they hate him. They don't like him because they think he's a, is a misogynist and stuff like that. I'm not saying he is a perfect dude. No, I'm not giving that at all. I won't. But he's not what the media have portrayed him to be, and he has to be a hard ass to put up with the incredible attacks on him. You have to be a real hard ass. You had to have been somewhat of that pool to start with. He was in that pool of high flying people, because otherwise he would never be able to outdo them. He just didn't sell his soul. And so there's something going on, and you need to make sure that you understand what this really is all about, so you can know where to put your energy. So let's now look at how to change your DNA, how to shift yourself. I'm just going to go back into Facebook here, see if we've got any questions. How to shift yourself energetically, how to change your blueprint. And Yeah, Lisa. Yeah, I feel like he's hot, right? Lisa says I loved Elvis as a child. Well, yeah, of course. Of course. Well, you look at him, you go, wow. But then when you find out the real story, it's actually not him. So this is what we need to start looking at. Okay, so now let's go back into shifting the DNA. Now, the reason why it's very difficult to actually change who you are and shift your DNA is because it's who you are. It's how you've been brought up. It's because who you are now is you are a product of everything you've learned, all your beliefs, all your experiences. And yes, so all your experiences and what your parents have done. This is the thing that you've got to do. You've got to actually go, I'm going to have to look at myself from up above and look downward, because you will have beliefs that are derived from all your experiences. And that's why when some people go, oh my God, that's so wrong that they do that, and that's so terrible, and they'll say stuff like that. And what you got to do is go beyond that. I would be like, well, what has just happened? I get it. Well, the world's messed up. It's screwed up. You've got people that, are following Satan, or you've got people that are coded, and you've got people that are traumatized. So I get why they're messed up. And then there's also a message in it for me to grow more when there's something bad that happens. I'm not going to go into woe is me. I've got to learn and grow, and it's pushing me in a direction or helping me do something. That is where you've got to get to, and then you'll stop being stuck. So how to change it, though? How to change it fast? Well, first and foremost, what do you got to work out? What do you want to change? What do you want to change? Your relationships? Do you want to change your ability to create, your ability to manifest, your ability to be, successful in who you are and what you have to offer? You got to work it out. What is it? And then you need to work out why you don't. Now, well, this is the beauty of forensic healing. Like, forensic healing goes back and it shows, well, okay, well, here's the parallel. You struggle with money now because your parents have, influenced you. You've had money troubles in childhood, or your mum and dad have said, oh, rich people are bad, or whatever you have. You've got to work it out. How come you are living this life today? Because life is a science. You've got to make sense of that. Then in that, you definitely are. I'm all for energy healing, but I'm going to go outside of energy healing, because the energy healing is, especially forensics, does all the forensics and brings back whatever's missing. But this is another part that I do. Another part is change. To change your DNA means that you need to physically put your body through stress in a way, or expand your physical body and that will emotional body. So, for instance, when people do a plunge in ice water, now that's a real shock, right? That is something that expands the body because it's out of the norm. So what I do is, when I do anything that I put my body through that's to grow it, it's not just for the sake of it. I have an intention, because when your body gets shocked in that way of, say, jumping into ice water or jumping into those ice pools, those cold pools, it then changes who you are, because you go into this shock in a way. Oh my God, it's really invigorating. It's really invigorating to do that. And when you do that, you go with an intention to say, take this out of my body, take out this emotion, take out this pattern from my body. You set an intention when you do it. It's the same as when you say you go do a sport or something. When you push yourself beyond your previous limits, you're going to change the DNA, but you can have an intention to change it. Go, now I'm just going to run my ass off. I'm going to go faster than I've ever gone, and I'm going to do it to put back empowerment in my body to overcome my childhood of feeling that, I'm not worthy of money, or I'm not loved enough, or whatever it is. You have all those intentions, and that's why I do all the shamanic stuff as well, the plant medicine, and that's not fun at all. And but it's again, it shocks my body. It really shocks my body, and it's not fun. I don't go, oh God, that was fun. It's just basically every time it just changes, because you go through, you purge out stuff. Detoxing your body is another thing, because when you detox toxins out of your body, when you release your body of excess food, when you are doing something that's not normal, you are then stretching the blueprint. So anything that you start to do that is going to be proactive for your body, I'm not talking about crappy stuff, I'm talking about things that, detoxing, that's tough, but you do it, and that can take out toxins, but it can be with an intention to release the toxins from whatever it is from your past. When you set intentions for stretching this blueprint, what else could you do? You could do things like, meditating, pushing yourself through long periods of meditating, pushing yourself through, they do you got to start doing physical things that are going to have a positive, that help your body be more spiritual. Fasting does that. Fasting, we used to fast in the Mormon church once a month, and you didn't eat for 24 hours, and it really made you spiritual. It was a real spiritual experience, and I think that you got really connected, and it got you, because you're stretching that, you're taking your body to a different level. So what it is your body is walking emotional being. It reacts to certain things. It carries your history, physical history in your body. So you got to start changing this coding in the body, because what happens is you see something, and that's why some people will be more traumatized or more upset when certain things happen than others, because it's bringing up memories. So the more neutral you can become and less affected by stuff, then the less you stop the old bad patterns happening. So that's why I would say, if you really want to transform this DNA, and it might be that you also then say certain mantras. You go, I'm going to now just focus on a half an hour moment, or spend half an hour of just being totally happy and feeling the opposite of what you don't have. I'm going to do that, and you try and do that for 30 minutes and stay in that state for 30 minutes. That's a challenge. But that is changing your body. Okay, so hot shower. Yeah, well, you do hot shower, then you go cold water. Well, you can do it with do it with intentions. And again, when you are not doing the norm, it's like when you face your fears. People go, well, I'm going to go. I fear this, and I fear travel, but I went and did it. I fear being on my own, but I did it. You got to start just getting over yourself, and then nothing can have power over you. And then you start seeing truth. Yeah, I love truth. Yeah. Okay, then. So I think I've covered everything. And again, it's time to wake up. It's time. And so what can you do during this time? So this time that we're getting close to the transition of, awakening. What you can do is be true to yourself, stay in your integrity, share a message about, go share a message and say, well, if people, and support what you want. If you sit on the fence, you could fall either way. Start being proactive and sharing a positive message. Start being very proactive. No more sitting on the fence anymore. And I think that's, otherwise you're easily you're easily pushed either way. And I don't want to risk that, and start waking up to, where is your energy going? Where are you placing it? Who are you giving it to? So everything, the music and everything, and the movies you watch, how have you raised your kids? What symbolism have you done in that? Because I will say that I find the whole thing, I find the inhumanity just this is what pushes me in humanity to animals, children, people. I'm done. I'm here to wake people up and help them heal themselves of inhumanity, and then that vibration heals the planet. That's the way it's done from it's an inside job. Well, take a nice deep breath in, everybody. Let's breathe in anything that breathe in the healing energy, and breathe out anything that you need to release, and let it all go. And know that you have the power, that you're watching this, so you are connecting to source. You're okay with working on yourself. You're okay with getting that natural power back of who you are. And when you see, we used to go, gosh, wouldn't it be nice to be famous and all that? Then now when you see the truth, it loses all its power. All right then. Yeah, no fence sitting. Eva says, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Talking to your body, Melissa says, talking to your smart body, innate, also changes your DNA. Yeah, talking to your body. You're welcome, Julie. Yeah, these are the times you've agreed to be part of this transition. You've agreed to help humanity and keep shining your light and keep connecting, because when you're connected, you are far more powerful, and everyone is a reflection of ourselves. So, yeah. So I must be okay, because I've got a lot of gorgeous women around me, beautiful, empowered, gorgeous women. So so I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Thank you for watching this. Bless you, and let's shine bright. Take care.